What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Geek Takeover. It is your boy, the Geek Takeover, coming back to you with another video. Sorry if my voice sounds a little shot today. I am a little under the weather, but I was not going to let a little common cold stop me from talking about Peacemaker because, ladies and gentlemen, John Cena is back. James Gunn has done it again. He has made Peacemaker even more emotional, insane, and multiversal than before. From the emotional gut punches that they had lined up in the entire season, and all the way to the wild Justice League retcon. There is a lot that was going on this season. So let's go ahead and dive right into the pros, and let's get this thing started. Kicking us off, let's just start with this. John Cena. We know he's an amazing wrestler. He's on his retirement tour. He only has a couple matches left. He's billed as one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. But let's also talk about the fact that he is one of the greatest wrestlers turned actors. Not one of, he probably is the best. Dwayne, great guy. Not it, dude. Batista, close. Not it. John Cena is hands down, bar none, the best actor. Like his heart, his humor, the pain he brings to a D-list hero, turning him to a common household name, it's unreal. And speaking about bringing characters and from D-list to household names, James Gunn. He's done it once again. This guy started off with the Guardians of the Galaxy, turned them into household names. He turned a raccoon and a talking tree into some of the most beloved characters ever. And now he's taken this nobody, a joke character from DC, and turned him into what's going to be one of the most pivotal characters in the beginning of the DCU. I mean, that might be his superpower. Maybe that's why DC hired him. This dude could make shit into gold. Which, I guess technically he did with the way DC was set up before. But, let's talk about some of these other characters that were in here, such as Frank Grillo. Not Frank Grillo. Jennifer Holland. I blame the cold for this. Jennifer Holland and Joel Kidman, Harcourt and Rick Flag Jr.'s relationship that we learned throughout the series that I did not see coming. But it definitely does explain a lot about how Harcourt acted with Chris in season 1 and in season 2. It just brings a lot of more layers to their relationship, as well as Chris's past from the Suicide Squad movie. Speaking of layers, Earth X, which we're going to dive into later. The ghost of Chris's past, when he ran into the Earth X version of Rick Flag Jr., which was basically just a one-off. It was just hilarious. Joel Kidman did great. I kind of hope that we get to see him again because he was funny. But the main ghost of his past was his brother Keith. From being the one that killed your brother to now seeing him and having this family bond and having a loving father, what a trap. Like, what a perfect trap for Chris, especially at this point in the show when he ventured into Earth X after killing himself. James Gunn, you mastermind. You crazy fool. And speaking of Earth X, the doppelgangers. Mainly, the double vigilante. The Spider-Man pose. I don't got nothing to say except that was perfect. I need more Adrian Chase in my life. And speaking of enjoyable characters, Tim Meadows and John Aogi, Economos and Agent Flurry, love them. When Economos spat on Flurry, that was the funniest thing I've ever seen in this entire show. Or when he was talking about his bird blindness, these two were fucking hilarious. I died laughing. I probably gained a couple abs from how much I laughed between these two idiots. Let's talk about the main big cameo. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. He comes in, he helps Rick Flag Sr. with his dimensional portal. He gets what he wants. He starts to get to a better prison, so that way that could lead to Man of Tomorrow. I think my main thing about this with Lex Luthor, it was just funny seeing him in a TVMA vibe, because it's funny hearing like certain characters just say fuck. Yeah, I don't know, it's funny to me. So I hope that means in Man of Tomorrow or future projects that the relationship between Rick Flag Sr. and Lex Luthor is going to play a more prominent role, and it maybe come back to bite Rick in the ass. So we shall see. Let's see. Going back to Earth X, Chris's Picture Perfect Earth, which is Picture Perfect Earth, happens to be full of racist. It's dark, it's uncomfortable, and brilliantly written by Mr. Gunn. What makes it even crazier is the fact that Chris's dad, who was one of the biggest racists that you've ever seen in season 1, it turns out he's not racist in season 2. All that just for him to get shanked in the neck by Vigilante. Talk about a plot twist. Let's see. And with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about what Rick Flag Sr. was doing on our Earth with Mr. Luthor. Because after they captured Chris, they started exploring more of these Earths, looking for something for resources. And the resources that they found was a prison world, which I didn't really understand at first, but luckily I used my handy dandy Google and I discovered what salvation is. So we're going to touch more about that prison Earth in the takeaways and what's next. Talk about more things that I enjoyed. The hotel scene in the finale, from Vigilante tackling Peacemaker to their little intervention between Adebayo and Chris. Their acting was phenomenal. It might have been the best acting in the entire series. The heart that those two brought, the emotion, it rips at your heart at the core. They brought their A game. They showed that they are not here to be messed with and made into a joke. So that's talking about the pros. Let's go ahead and talk about the cons. So, as much as I love the show, Frank Grillo, you're a cool guy, but my guy, I'm so tired of seeing you already in every DC project. Rick Flag Sr., to me, is a boring character, and I'm just tired of seeing him. I hope he's not in Lanterns. I don't think he is. I know he's not in Woman or Supergirl, so it's gonna be so nice seeing him in stuff, or not seeing him in stuff, because I'm just over his character 3 projects in. He's boring, he's annoying, but speaking of boring and annoying, Michael Rooker. Completely unnecessary. I get why James did it. I get he's friends. You did this, it was funny for a little bit, but you literally could have removed his character. The entire plot line would not change a single thing for me. The Prime Eagle is cool. Don't care enough about it. And then here's my hot take. I'm sorry, guys. Season 1 was better, and the season 1 intro was superior. I won't lie to you guys, I didn't like the season 2 intro. I skipped it every time it came on the screen. It just was not for me. I didn't like the song, I didn't like the dance, it just was not my vibe. Maybe to me, James just couldn't catch the same lightning in the bottle. That's just me. And as much as I loved what they did with Adrian, I wish they would have done even more. I get it, it's Peacemaker's show, but for Chris just to say, oh yeah, he looks to be like an older brother in the finale, but we never really got a lot of arc into that, or even more explanation about Vigilante's brother. To me, I just don't like that. I hope that it gets followed up on in a future project, but that's just where that stands. And then my last con is, I saw a lot of fan theories online about Tim Meadows playing Martian Manhunter. That was the stupidest fucking thing I've ever read in my life. That was just it. Alright, time for the takeaways. At the core of Season 2, Peacemaker is about self-love, acceptance, and not taking what you have for granted. It's about realizing that even the most broken people can still change. If they're willing to face it, of course. I also think that in Harcourt's storyline, all the way up to the finale, says a lot. She wants to love Chris, but she can't because she's a terrible person, her past with Rick Flag Jr., and what Chris has done. She wants to love him, but she can't, and then the finale, after everything they've been through together, she finally admits, and they seemingly get together. So that's sweet. Now let's talk about the big things at the end. Checkmate and Salvation. Now I'm going to touch on Checkmate first because this is what I did not do a ton of research on. But Checkmate is an anti-hero team that is put together in the comics by Amanda Waller. It has Peacemaker on the team. Now, based off of that information, I'm assuming this is just going to be the new Suicide Squad, kind of, maybe. It's going to feature, obviously, anti-heroes, and I'm very excited to see what kind of people they're going to bring in this. They may make a Checkmate show, because I know they may not do a Peacemaker Season 3. So I think a Checkmate show would be a cool spinoff. We get to explore characters like Judo Master, Vigilante, Peacemaker some more, Sasha, and then any other characters they decide to bring in. So that'll be cool. But now the one I'm really excited to talk about after I Googled it, Salvation. So in the comics, Salvation is a prison world that they send the meta villains to. And on this world, they have like Lex Luthor and Joker. They have their own little civil war there. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the obvious one is in the comics, Salvation is a training ground for the parademons for Apocalypse for Darkseid. The easy answer is to say that this is going to be leading to Darkseid. That's not fun. I want to give a crazy theory out there and say, what if they do turn this into a meta-villain prison world? They send villains like Luthor, Bane, Deathstroke, Gorilla Grodd, just all these obscure villains. And what if instead of fighting each other like they did in the comics, they work together and they become the Legion of Doom? And then they work together to get out and they fight the newly formed Justice League. I think that's a pretty good theory. I think Darkseid's probably still the more likely one, but that's a good idea to go on to. That's all I'm saying. So, at the end of the day, let's wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm starting to feel a little sick and I'm ready to end this video. Peacemaker Season 2 is a solid follow-up to the Season 1. It wasn't great, it wasn't bad, it had its ups, its downs, its plateaus, ups again, and downs. All in all, I give the season a 7 out of 10. It's not perfect. I'd watch it again. It just is what it is. Cena killed it. He really did kill it. Jennifer did a lot. She showcased herself. James Gunn did what James Gunn always does. And at the end of the day, this series was great, and I can't wait to see what's next in store for the DCU. So tell me, what did you guys think of Peacemaker Season 2? Drop your ratings below, and let's talk some theories about what you think about my Legion of Doom, what you think about Salvation, etc., etc. So if you enjoyed this breakdown, please make sure to hit the like button, comment, share, and subscribe with your friends. And until next time, Peacemaker style, peace out. Down to stop production.